We have got basketball in focus, football in focus, even baseball in focus tonight. Shane's Rib Shack. Full show lined up. Been trying to get this man for a couple weeks. Coach Darryl Brown is with us. Was it Southern Guilford, now Grimsley? Coach, how do we address this now? Is it Coach Brown from Grimsley or Coach Brown from Southern Guilford? How do we do that now?
I guess we say Coach Brown at Grimsley, from Southern.
From Southern at Grimsley. Got you lined up. Got you lined up. Now, talk about it. Leaving Southern and going to Grimsley, been Orly's head coach. How many years at Southern?
I've been there 15 years, 11 as the head coach.
It's a good stay.
Yeah, been there a long time, and really been there longer than that. I guess most of my whole life.
You went to school there as a young man too, right?
Yeah, I played there, graduated from there, grew up there. From the time I could walk, I was at Southern with my grandpa walking around. So I told somebody I've really been there for about 34 years. I'm about to turn 38, all but the 4 years I went to college for the most part.
With 4 years away at college, otherwise you've been there almost your entire life.
Yeah.
What's the upside of going to Grimsley?
Well, first of all, I'm excited. I think there's a tremendous potential there. I think the upside's really huge. I believe in those kids. Been around them the last couple of weeks, really believe in them. And, I just think it's a kind of like just untapped waters. It's a chance to kind of be something special, and we believe in the program.
Probably some fun challenges out there, challenges at Grimsley too.
It is. They've got a great tradition, but they struggled the last few years, and for different reasons. But I believe in the principal and administration there, and they have a vision for what they want, and hopefully everything that we want to do kind of falls in line with them.
It's kind of interesting you coming into. I was kind of looking for you. Didn't know it wasn't expected. I saw you wear the blue, coming in the blue tonight. So that blue colors have been already put on the back, carrying it now.
Yeah. Yes. Ever since we started over there with after school workouts, we try to make sure that we dress the part.
Absolutely. What about, is this moving up from a coaching career standpoint? This a move up or a lateral move? What do you say?
Yeah, I didn't look at it as a move up. I've never looked for another job. I was happy where I was at. I wasn't looking for another job this off season. It's just something that kind of happened, and really after talking and going through the interview. When you first heard about
the job opening, did you become inquisitive then when you first heard about it? Did it take a few weeks then you started to wonder more about it?
I talked to a friend of mine that works over there, and just it kind of intrigued me. The situations always intrigued me. The facilities and everything that goes on there, I feel like it has an opportunity to be something special.
A lot more there that maybe is not being utilized.
Exactly.
Yeah, I guess it's like bringing it back to the farming situation. You got to go ahead and plow some unfertile soil there, get that soil fertile again.
Yeah, it's going to take it's not all going to happen at once, but I told Mr. Blanchard I feel like we can have some success right away. I'm not sure how much, but kids are already working hard, and they're already buying into the things we're asking out of them.
And some of the positives about moving, some of the major positives.
Well, I guess for me, from a personal standpoint, it's just it kind of re-energizes me a little bit, something new, a new challenge. But again, it's not like I was unhappy or disappointed or anything where I was at. I loved where I was at and wasn't looking to move, but just kind of a new challenge for me at this point in my career. And I've been in it 16 years, and probably at the point where if I wasn't going to move now, then I probably never would move.
You could maybe get stale sometimes too. You've had a lot of success at Southern. Sometimes coaches get stale and they don't mail it in, they just don't phone it in. But sometimes you go to work each day. This is a change, makes for a new challenge, kind of maybe invigorates you a little bit.
Right, and I think I've kind of looked at it like that a little bit. But again, it's just hard for people to understand. And when I sat down with Mr. Blanchard, his vision I fell in line with, and I just felt like it was supposed to be where I was supposed to be at.
After all those years, maybe time for a change. After all those years at Southern.
Yeah.
See what's on the other side a little bit.
Right.
And that's the thing about being young. You want to make that move while you're young. You wait too long at the end. You want to go someplace to be there for 3 or 4 years.
Right.
It's not fulfilling.
Right. Well, I told them, I said, if I come here, and I plan on being here for 10, 15 years. I don't look for jobs, not looking to move around. I'm happy living where I'm at, and so I'm hoping to be here for a while, and hopefully we can do something good during our time there.
Some of the concerns over leaving Southern Guilford, what concerns maybe leaving out?
Well, I'm concerned. My concern just be I want to make sure that they continue to have success, because we've had a great run the past 10, 11 years. That school means a lot to me, very special to me. So I guess if I have a concern, I want to make sure that things stay the way they are. I want to make sure they continue to have success and things continue to be good for those kids in that community, because they deserve it.
And it's like not like you're flying out when things are bad. Things have been good. This is a time people would leave and leave things in good shape.
Right. It's a good job for somebody, whoever comes in there and takes over. We got 21. Southern's got 21 returning seniors that played a lot. And then our JV team went 10-0, so it's a good time.
JV team,
It's a good time to step in there.
A lot of good people in that community too to keep. They're interested in seeing Southern Guilford stay up near that top and keep the word out about Southern Guilford.
Absolutely.
A lot of good roots among people down there.
Yeah, I hope they win every game except for one this next year.
Are you going to be playing that game next year? That matchup is still in place? Southern, formerly coached by Darryl Brown, versus Grimsley, now coached by Darryl Brown. You're playing next year?
Yeah, we were already locked into that contract for one more year. We'll never play them again.
Wow.
But we're going to have to play next year and be the second game of the season. I'm not looking forward to that.
Interesting. It's just one more year on that contract too. The 1 year you begin to take over.
Yeah.
But after that, you won't play them again.
We'll never play again. No.
Interesting, boy. That's some interesting news there. You leave behind a lot. What about when you clean out your office? Anything you take along with you when you clean out that office in Southern? So maybe some things, maybe an old football, maybe some trophies or things you take with you to Grimsley and put in your new office?
Yeah, I mean, I'll take, like I said, I have a lot of great memories at Southern. We did a lot of great things. So, and those teams and those players were special to me. So I got some things that they've given me over the years, some signed footballs and things of that nature that will go with me. But just, because that's always going to be a special part of me and part of my career. And so I'll make sure I have all that stuff that stays with me.
And put some of those things in that new office at Grimsley, get that going there. Do you feel like necessarily so, do you feel like you might always be able to go back to Southern if necessary down the road? If that opportunity ever came up again, you decide to make another change, do you feel like the door's always open where you can go back there again?
I hope so. Like I said, I had great relationships with everybody there and that community. It's my home. My parents still live in that community. I still live right down the road. And,
you got aunts, you got uncles, you got cousins, you got your grandfather.
So, if something later on down the road toward the end of my career, if something came along where I felt like that's where I was needed to be, I'd hope that they would always welcome me back.
Did you have a brother on your staff too?
I did a few years ago, and he's the head basketball coach at Providence Grove.
Wow.
And has a chance to become their next head football coach as well.
So he could be football, basketball coach both?
He could possibly.
Would he take both of those, you think?
I think he would. He's 8 years younger than me, so he's got a little more energy.
That's your younger brother?
That's my youngest one. I got another one that's a year younger than me.
What's his name?
Which one? The youngest one?
Yeah.
His name's Calvin Brown.
Calvin Brown, coaching right now at Providence Grove, coaching basketball, could get the football job.
Possibly,
Back when your grandfather coached, that was the norm. He coached football, basketball, even baseball too.
Yeah, he did. For a long time, he did football, boys and girls basketball, and baseball.
That's what I've heard. I made for some long basketball practice days.
Yeah. That's all he knew, though.
Yeah, exactly. And we're talking to Coach Slate. Coach Slate said, "Be sure to tell Coach Brown you've got his endorsement." Coach Bill Slate said, "If you need to Coach Bill Slayton's stopwatch, he'll bring one over to help you practice."
I've known Coach Slayton for a long time. He's a good man.
What is the long term at Grimsley? Is it 5 years, 10 years? What's the long term?
As far as me?
Yeah.
Well, like I told him when I took the job, I said, I plan on being here till I retire. I don't look for other jobs. I'm not looking to go anywhere. We want to come in, establish something, build on it, continue to make it better each and every year, and hopefully 7, 8 years from now that we could be the standard around here.
And you were at Southern how many years again? 17?
I was there 15, 11 as the head coach.
15. And did you coach any or teaching before Southern?
My first year out of college, I taught and coached middle school at Northwest Guilford.
So you've been about 16 years.
16 years, yeah.
So if you went with the 30-year
plan. If I went 30, I got 14 years.
14 years, but you may. From your standpoint now, looking ahead, you probably be one of the coaches that might go beyond the 30-year mark.
Possibly, yeah. We'll see.
How many years your grandfather put in? Any idea?
35.
He went 35.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Good long tenure there. You talk about the change going over to Grimsley. Do you look at change anything in that program when you take over? Some major change you're going to make, or do you look to bring that tradition back and kind of restore that overall tradition?
Yeah, they've got a great tradition there. The kids that we got now, they don't really know what that tradition is. They don't understand it. So more than anything, we just want to change their attitude, their belief.
Right.
Believing that they can do something, believing that they deserve to have the opportunity to be successful. But all that comes from hard work and earning it. And like I said, we've had a great start to our winter and spring weightlifting after school. So.
And they played for a state championship there back in 2005, 40 state title.
Yeah, with Coach Shupin.
Coach Todd Shupin back in the day, sure did. And kind of interesting, too, the way some things have happened over the years, this football situation. Coach Gillespie took over at Page back in the day, took over a program that had been traditionally super powerhouse under Coach Kirby all those years, and they fought on hard times at Page. He came from Trinity to Page and was able to restore things there, get that rebuilt. In some ways, maybe you're looking to do some, maybe a similar operation type thing over at Grimsley.
Yeah, we hope to. I mean, that's our plan, to come in and we're coming to be successful and to win and to create something that excites people around here, the alumni and the fans that support Grimsley. And so we're planning on, and our plan is to kind of have success. So we're hoping to build on that.
It all starts down at Kaiser, I'm sure. It starts at Kaiser, even probably starts in some recreation league here in town. Could be with maybe Lewis Center where those kids play, but it all starts at that level. You got to get Kaiser right. Because you used to go to a lot of those middle school games at Southern, because they had at the Southern Middle School actually had their own little field at their campus over there. You went to those games, and it comes to the JV team. The JV team, it's not good. You just can't ignore the JV team. That team's got to look good on Thursday night for you guys to play good on Friday.
Yeah, one of the first things we'll do, I hadn't been able to yet, but here in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to get over to Kaiser, meet those kids, talk to those rising ninth graders, get them some calendars, some information, and then our JV team will be huge for us this year. Our coaches do a great job of coaching up our JV kids. In fact, it's a priority. We coach them as hard, if not harder, than our varsity kids because that's the future foundation.
Same staff going to coach your JV, coach your varsity?
Yeah, same guys, coach same positions, do everything exactly the same.
And you'll be right there with them?
Yes, sir.
You'll be the head coach of the JV team too then? Gotcha. That's different people do it different ways. That's interesting, knowing that going in. Some of those early on goals. Got some early on goals? I know that's a broad-based type thing, but some goals
we'll set, we hadn't set like necessarily goals right now as far as wins, losses, things of that nature, but our goal is to be competitive, and like I said, I told them that we come there, I felt like we could have success right now. Now, what that's going to be, determining X number of wins, we're not sure yet, but I feel like that we got a chance to compete. I feel like we got the players there to have success and win some football games right away. So, our goal, one of our main goals is going to be to make the state playoffs. And those guys haven't done that. None of the players that's there now have been in the state playoffs.
Haven't been very close. No. Man, you can't get in the playoffs. It makes it tough.
Yeah.
Because sometimes in the past couple years, the way the playoff system's changed, sometimes a 3-win season, 4-win season gets you in.
Yeah. So our goal is to get in, for them guys to experience that.
And long-term goals will be like at Southern Guilford, be there every year.
Yeah. We would like to get to where every year people will know that when they play us, we're going to be competitive, we're going to be tough, and at the end of the year, hopefully we're playing for a conference championship and a chance to move on in the playoffs.
And when you really get it going good, it's the kind of thing where you're going to be home every year, week one of the playoffs. You're always at home. That's the key, too.
Hope so.
Yeah, that's got to be the long-term goal. Do you get to bring any of your assistant coaches with you? We met a couple of guys tonight.
Yeah, got a couple of guys with me tonight, and hopefully we're going to be able to hire 4 or 5 guys that's been on staff with me at Southern. We'll be able to find them jobs at Grimsley is the plan, and none of that's permanent or set in stone yet, but that's what we're working towards. So if I can have 5 or 6 guys with me that's been on staff with me before and then fit 2 or 3 more people in, we'll feel real good about things. But I got a core of guys that's been with me for a long time, and we'd like to stay together and continue to work together, and they're excited about the opportunity to be at Grimsley as well.
I know you had the kid, we talked about a little bit before, Mon Harris over at Southern this past year. Now you got a chance to coach his brother, Niles Harris, over at Grimsley. You got him back. You got the McMillan kid back in defensive backfield. You met a few of those kids over. You got some potential talent over there.
Yeah, we've had workouts, like I said, for the past couple of weeks. So we've had a chance to get to start to know them and start to put names with faces. And there's a lot of good players over there, a lot of kids that work hard, and I see a lot of good things. And of course, the Braylon Faison kid, who's one of the best players in the area. But there's a core group of seniors, rising seniors, that I feel real good about.
Do you like having a guy like Walden Faison, the kid, Brendan Walden Faison, I think it is? A guy like that that's been recruited, because that brings some attention to the camp. You need a couple of guys, a few guys out front of the program that colleges and people are looking at and talking about. That helps the program some too.
It does. And I think there's more than just him there. I think there's some good players and players that have the opportunity to play at the next level. But
how do you challenge those guys that are walking around campus? They're not playing, but they ought to be playing. These big kids are kind of taking it easy, kicking back a little bit, and they should be out there playing. How do you challenge those kids and get some of those kids out there?
Well, we've met a lot of them already. So we've got some interest from some kids that hadn't been playing, and I spent some time in the halls walking around talking to kids, and I had a meeting for kids that hadn't played. I had a meeting just for those kind of kids to get to know them.
First-timers.
Yep. And I think the fact there's a new coach, new staff, that always kind of brings a different level of excitement no matter where it is. So those kids that hadn't been playing, they're going to give it a try just to kind of see what it's about. So we'd like to get them kids in, get them balled in, because there is some kids walking those halls over there that should be playing that's not.
How about the winter sports kids that can't get those early workouts going? How about those kids? You're looking at those kids too, waiting to get them out there.
Yeah, when I had my meetings, I was able to meet with all those kids. So I got information on all of them, and as soon as they're done with basketball and things of that nature, they'll kind of join in with us and start doing our stuff.
I know Aaron Wiggins with that basketball team, watching him play the past several nights. I'm not sure if he could convert to football anymore, because the kid's got a nice, sleek frame, good jumping ability, all those kind of things. You see those kids like that, you wonder, because this day and time, the norm has been kind of the new wave, I guess you might say, is guys who play basketball transition into football.
Yeah, he'd be. I don't know what his plans are. I know he's an outstanding basketball player, but he'd be a ridiculous wide receiver.
We should have Bruce Davis one more year. You always
I
want to
do too.
You always want that kid one more year to see what you can do with that kid.
I'd like to have Bruce Davis and Malik Stimson.
Yeah,
those two kids.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That quarterback's going to be your crucial position. I think if I'm building a football team, I've got to have a good quarterback, got to have a good running back, and at least one very good wide receiver. Those three guys on offense. I mean, I can build linemen from different people. I can make anybody play defense. I can find a guy down the hall, get in his face, get him some mad. He wants to play defense. He'll chase me around the school. He'll play defense for you. But you got to find that quarterback, got to find that good running back, got to find that wide receiver.
Yeah.
Somebody get the ball in their hands.
Yeah, that's going to be. We know with the new rules where you don't have skill development, where you can't go out and throw and do anything until May practice, makes it tough on us coming in because we're not able to do anything with those kids and kind of figure out who those guys are going to be until May.
Some have said some of those worldly kids in the past were not working hard enough. They weren't trying hard enough. What do you do to challenge those guys to begin to work harder? I mean, that's the most important thing is, it's like putting your shoes on your little kid and putting your pants on your shirt. You got to train and do things the right way. But hey, you challenge those kids to go to work. Let's try harder. Let's get to work, get this thing done.
Well, first thing, they're going to see how hard that me and my coaches will work. We'll be organized, we'll be prepared, and we're going to work hard. They're not going to outwork us. And so then if they realize what we're putting into it, we're just going to ask them to kind of do the same thing. And we're never going to ask them to do anything they can't do.
That's a good line, yeah.
And we're going to ask them to just give us their absolute best. And that's different for everybody, but give us their absolute best each day they're with us. And we're not going to abuse their time. When they're with us, it's going to be structured, it's going to be organized. And we feel like if they believe in that and they buy into the things that we ask out of them and they work hard, good things are going to happen. That's all we've ever asked out of kids.
Like you just said, you never ask that kid or require that kid to do more than you would do yourself.
Right.
Yeah, and that's not asking too much.
No. Like right now, our workouts are 90 minutes. So 3 or 4 days a week at 90 minutes, that's not asking a lot. But when we're there that 90 minutes, we're going to go hard.
What's going on during those workouts? Give us an idea.
Well, they're kind of behind as far as they don't. Their kids are not involved in weight training programs during the school day like most places are around here. So right now it's just a lot of weight room things going on in the weight room, our base stuff, and then we're having so many, we're having to split it up, and we're having a group that's kind of doing some speed and agility stuff, plyometric stuff. So we're having that going on in the auxiliary gym, and then we're having weight training down in the weight room. And we go for about 45 minutes each place, and then we switch it over, and both groups get both sessions.
Got these guys working hard right now. What about you look at that 90-minute workout when the season starts? How long are your practices usually? Same deal, 90 minutes?
And preseason, we're a little longer. Before we start playing, we're about 2.5 hours.
2.5?
And then once the season starts, we're 2 hours. Always 2 hours.
2 hour block.
Yeah.
You got it all detailed out for the kids going into practice?
Yeah, everything is scripted, practice plan, every session, everything's scripted.
Do they get to see that plan before they go out there?
Well, they'll kind of get in a routine and know what's going on, but our coaches will have everything, and everything will be mapped out and detailed out for the kids.
The old coach in high school I was with, for some reason, I think he did it most year. Toward the end, he may have quit doing it, but he used to post some practice plans. You see him before, as I'm working at the fire station, you see your plan of attack that day.
Yeah.
I think toward the end of the year, he might pull that down because you started seeing it too much. People started applying themselves different ways during different sessions, and you don't want that.
Right.
You want that hard work.
We try to get creative at practice too, as you get going, because it can get monotonous a little bit. But
and you try to involve and incorporate as much running during practice too to make it run during practice. So you have to do much because the guys dread that end of the practice running. They start dreading that. You're not getting the best work out of the guys either.
Yeah, well, I don't know how it'll be here. We got to figure out our kids and situation, but we got at Southern where we never conditioned at practice because we didn't have to. Our kids were already conditioned through our weight program, and then we practiced so fast and everything was so organized and structured, and everybody was moving so fast all the time, and every drill was so hard, we didn't have to condition at the end of practice.
How about Mr. Blanchard? Mention him again. He was a big part of what happened when you got the decision made about coming to Grimsley, getting meeting with Mr. Blanchard. Also, Lewis Newman was a big part of the things too.
Yeah, my conversations with Mr. Blanchard just excited me. He gets it. He understands what athletics means for his school. And he understands what the football program having success will mean for the overall well-being of the school. He's a football guy. He's coached football. He's been around it.
That helps.
So he understands, and then he has a vision for what he wants for Grimsley High School, the athletic program, and the football program. And they all kind of go together. They all mesh together. And, just hearing him talk about the things he wants and what he sees down the road got me excited. And the things that he wants are the same things that I wanted. So I felt like his vision aligned with my vision, and I just felt like it was a good opportunity.
Best memories over at Southern Guilford. What are some of those good memories over the years?
Oh, man, I got so many. Yeah. Obviously, a couple years ago, we was 13-0 before we got knocked out in the playoffs and finished in the regular season undefeated. The first conference championship team in 2011 was a great memory. And just all those players, just basically the relationships I built with those kids. Many of them I still talk to every day. When I got the job at Grimsley, I got text after text after text from former players.
That felt good.
So saying that they were happy for me and that they would come see me up here and that kind of stuff. So,
do you ever bring the old player back and have him talk? I know some coaches do that, some coaches stay away from it. Bring the old player back with you before, talk to the team, try to get them motivated before the game.
Absolutely. We've always used those guys because they have a great insight on how we've done things. And I've had a couple former players help me coach. And then, every once in a while we'll get video of them guys saying stuff and we'll play it for the team before games and things of that nature.
One thing about these deals of former players come back help you coach, you want to make sure that guy's got to be right when he talks and works with those kids. If he's not right when he talks to us, you got to get that guy out of there. Because some former players come out and they're kind of relaxed. I want that guy on edge just like the coaches are. They got to be sharing that same intensity, pushing that toward the players.
Yeah, the two guys I've had were the last couple of years were guys that were with me my first year at Southern. And they've grown up, matured, and they're good to be around because they trust me and they've kind of been with me and I trust them and they know how things are supposed to work. They know how I'm going to be and they're kind of an extension of me on the field a little bit.
And again, that season a couple years ago in Reggie's senior year, that might be probably one of the more memorable years.
Yeah, I mean, it was the first and only undefeated regular season in school history, and we had a great run watching Reggie and that team, and it was a fun year. Those guys did some special things.
I tell you what, this past year, Ray Sean Knight did a very good job for you.
He did.
Ray Sean maybe had 19 points in that basketball game last night.
Did, yeah.
I was proud of him for that last night, too.
Yeah.
And that was a big win for Southern last night. I think they knocked off Asheboro 68-67, just won the game the night before, 58-56.
Yeah.
Coach Fancourt, so he got some football players on those teams, too.
Yeah, I got a couple guys. Ray Sean, though, he had a great senior year.
He did.
He's a great athlete. He's been a great basketball player for the past 2 or 3 years, and he really stepped up this year and was a big leader for us.
He worked hard for you in the offseason to get ready for his senior year, too,
Yeah,
didn't he?
he worked hard his junior year when he didn't get to play. He'd come to practice every day like he was the starter and work just like he was the starter, even though he's backing up Nathan Stoner at the time. But he deserved the success he had because he had worked for it.
A lot of character on that young man's part.
Yeah.
Now, you got children, 2 daughters, right?
I got one daughter, she's 10, and a son that's 2 years old.
2 years old. Do you see that 2-year-old maybe being the quarterback of the future for the Grimsley Whirlies?
I don't know. If I can keep him out of trouble, he's a little wild man right now.
That might be good. He might be the next Luke Kuechly maybe for the Grimsley Whirlies.
That'd be nice.
It'd be kind of fun down the road to see what that kid might do one day, though, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Some parents I guess, go in and think about, my kid will never play that heavy major contact sport. Some parents are going to kind of look forward maybe the day he might be able to play for you.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be nice, I guess, one day to have the opportunity to coach him. I hadn't really thought much about that right now. He's still so young, but, my kids and my family are very involved in our football program. They're around all the time, so that's nice having them always around.
If you could pass on some words of encouragement to these young coaches out there thinking about getting into coaching, what kind of words do you send toward a guy? Because you got some good advice back in the day, too, yourself. What do you tell those young coaches?
Well, the first thing I tell them is to make sure they keep a good balance. It's very easy to just kind of get caught up in everything that's going on, just football. And then if you got a family and you got kids, then you end up starting to neglect them, and it just makes things hard. So we've always tried to keep, and understand that your players need that balance too. They're 15, 16 years old. It's supposed to be fun for them. So we've always tried to keep it like that. Our families are always involved. We try not to abuse our kids. 90 minutes like right now, 2-hour practices, get home, be with your families. We don't abuse things, so keep a good balance. I think that makes things more enjoyable, and it's better for the kids and your coaches as well.
How did you handle that success? Some coaches get addicted to it. It's almost like a drug. They have that success, those wins start to play. We got to get 10 wins every year. We got to break this thing down. If we don't do this, we have not had. How do you find success? How do you measure success?
Well, first of all, we identify that differently each year because every team's different. Every group of players are different. Our core values and beliefs are going to stay the same. But this past year, for example, at Southern, we won 11 games. We won a conference championship, but we didn't win as many games as the team did before. They won 13 the year before. But I felt like this team we had this past year might have been even more successful because the things were stacked against them. We started out slow, got off to a 1-2 start, but they found ways to kind of come together and build on the things we was asking them to, and we had a lot of success. But if you looked at the win total, you might say we weren't as successful, but I felt like we were more
Well, you
successful.
took, what, Eastern Alabama to overtime?
Yeah, we lost to them in overtime.
Huge game down there. And that was a
Yeah.
game I think Rayshon had a big game, too, that night.
Yeah, he played pretty good that night. That was a tough one.
Eastern Alabama, and they got beat, I think, the following week, so
They did.
they know about how the pitfalls.
The last 2 years, we've lost in the third round in overtime. So that's been hard the last couple of years.
It is, because the year where Reggie was overtime, wasn't it?
Yeah, we lost in overtime, went for 2, and the snap was high.
So remember,
Yeah.
Will. I was like,
If it had been a good snap, he'd have caught it, we'd have probably
if it
scored.
had been a Friday night game, we'd have won. That's why when I lose those Saturday nights, if we would have played tonight, we're supposed to, we would have won. I always use that excuse for years.
Yeah.
Hate having to move those games to the next night.
Yeah,
That's the way
I
it
don't
is
think that
sometimes.
bothered us that much. We just had trouble stopping them that night.
Yeah, a lot of offense now, especially the second half. That team got rolling.
Yeah, they
You
did.
kept them in check pretty well the first half.
Yeah.
The coaches that have molded you over the years,
Well, obviously, my grandfather.
right?
Huge influence on me and how I've done things, and I've always asked for his input and what he thought about things.
Did you inquire with him about the Grimsley job?
I sure did,
Right.
yeah. If he would have felt like it wasn't a good opportunity, even at 87 years old, I trust him and what he thinks, and he thought it was a good opportunity. And when I talked to him about the leadership there, the principal and stuff, he thought the opportunity to work for somebody like that was great. But obviously him, and then I always talk about Coach Norwood.
Absolutely.
He's one of the first people I sat down with when I got the head job at Southern, and more, not so much about X's and O's, but just about how he ran a program, because he's had a lot of success for a long time, and I think he's a guy that keeps things in check and very balanced and a family guy. And so I wanted to talk with him, but those two guys as much as anybody probably.
And you think about this past year with Southern again. You beat Grimsley this past year, right?
Yes,
You remember what the score was by chance?
it was like 30-6 or something.
And this coming year, you play them again, but you're playing them this time coaching Grimsley. Grimsley playing Southern. This year, does Grimsley beat Southern?
I hope so. I hope so.
The plan is, right?
That's right.
You plan to win them all. If you don't win them all, you win 8. If you don't win 8, you win half.
Yeah.
If you don't do that, you improve at least 2 or 3 games what you did last
I mean,
year.
that's going to be a tough game, but when it gets to Friday night, when it gets to that week, we're going to prepare, and I'm going to put everything out of my mind, and we'll get to that Friday night. We're going over there for one reason, that's to win a football game.
And you shake the hand of the guy on the other sideline, you're thinking, man, this is going to be really surreal, I'm sure, that night. But that's part of the business.
Yeah,
That's what
it
you
is.
get in it for.
Yeah, it'll be tough.
Coach, you did a great job, man. Thank you always.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Andy.
Keep up the good work. Good